North American conducted a manned altitude test of the Apollo Environmental Control Subsystem. The test subjects were sealed in a command module test cell for 14 days, the duration of a lunar mission, and subjected to simulated altitudes they would encounter on such a trip. Closed-circuit television cameras kept a constant surveillance on the test subjects. Blood samples were taken periodically and passed by means of an airlock to medical personnel who monitored the subjects' physiological responses. The test included evaluating overall ECS performance during normal and emergency modes, performing toxic gas studies, checking crew system interfaces with respect to lighting and personnel comfort, and conducting microbiological control studies. The test demonstrated that both man and the ECS subsystem can meet the rigors of a 14-day Apollo mission. In the 120-foot vacuum chamber, formal test operations were inaugurated with the emplacement of the first flight article Apollo spacecraft to be delivered to MSC. The flight article will be used in both manned and unmanned tests to determine the Apollo spacecraft's thermal responses and habitability in a simulated space environment.
The first 3 days of the test were unmanned to measure temperature stresses and heat shield alignment. The manned test followed beginning August 1st and lasting 8 days, with 3 Flight Crew Support Division engineers in the command module. The test consisted of a cold soak, including evaluation of the environmental control and electrical power subsystems, and determination of the thermal response of the service module bays containing such major components as fuel tanks, fuel cells, and reaction control system. Fuel cell loss tests and cabin depressurization were also conducted in a thermal vacuum environment like that at 87 miles above the Earth. The crew's ability to work efficiently and relax in comparative comfort for the 8-day duration of a lunar mission was confirmed. In October, a second manned test of ground test, spacecraft 008, was conducted in Chamber A, with astronauts Gibbons and Kerwin and technologist Gagliano, beginning October 26 and lasting for 6 days. Environmental control system performance was tested with spacecraft subsystems in modes representative of those planned for the first manned Apollo flight. With 550 NASA and contractor employees involved in round-the-clock support of the test, all objectives were met.
In the tests for the command and service modules, which were called 2TV1, 3 astronauts lived and worked in the crew compartment continuously for 8 days and nights, virtually the same as if they were in space. For the Lunar Module, which was dubbed LTA-8, 2 crew members entered the crew compartment for 10 to 12-hour tests on 4 separate occasions. Working with the crew members, literally hundreds of people watched over the spacecraft modules during the tests, ringing out system after system. The conditions imposed by the chambers essentially matched those of a low orbit above the Earth, a near vacuum, a temperature range of hundreds of degrees Fahrenheit. When all was said and done, the Apollo spacecraft had proven its mettle, passing one of its final and most severe trials on Earth.